never fucking had it.
Shut
No way.
up.
Never fucking
No
had it.
way.
Like, Austin, you trying to tell us something else right now?
All that experience, all that emotions, all the things that happen in that one life is boiled down to what we call instinct. And that's the only thing we can bring over to the next life.
You won't be hanged. You'll be canceled.
Coincidence? Coincidence? Coincidence. There cannot be three.
Hello and welcome back to the Collective Minds podcast. This is episode 38, and today's topic is the Warrens, Ed and Lorraine, the famous original ghost hunters of the world. Please make sure to like, subscribe, comment, rate, all depending on which service you are viewing us on. We gratefully appreciate all of your support. So let's start with the questions. Question number 1 of 3, Jay. What do you think about hauntings and ghosts, spirits, poltergeists, all that stuff?
I think they're real and they happen.
That's awesome. I do as well. I actually have a ghost cat in the background right now.
I hear that.
Yeah, very spooky. What about you, Ledger? What do you think about hauntings and ghosts, spirits, poltergeists, etc.?
I believe that they are very real.
That's awesome. So you guys were all on the same page, I guess. No skeptics in this room today. Second question, though. Have you experienced anything within the realm of hauntings, Jay?
Maybe not necessarily hauntings, but feel presence. Like I'll feel like I'm not alone in the room. In the past, I was able to trace or, like follow wherever it moved. Like I could sense it's moving from left to right or from my right moving forward to like in front of the room kind of thing.
That's awesome. So you actually have personal experiences with this.
Yeah, but not really bad. Like I guess neutral. No, nothing happened. I just sensed them.
Right, you could feel them. Now, were any of those times scary? A lot of times people, no matter the experience, they get scared. It's kind of a first thing, something of not the normal element. I think that's a lot of it.
No, I feel normal. No, like I'm just like watching a movie and then I just feel someone or something moving around.
Gotcha.
I'll just look in that direction, see nothing, and then focus back onto the movie.
You've never woke up with like a demon ripping you off the bed or something?
Nightmares, but then if I do have a feeling that it's gonna turn for the worse type of thing, like that nightmare is gonna turn into something bad, like something would manifest in real life kind of thing, I just repeat the stuff I say, and they just automatically go away.
That's very interesting. Thank you for that share, Jay. Ledger, have you ever experienced anything within the realm of hauntings?
I used to definitely be able to feel them, be able to feel energy, or I've heard stuff like in walls and stuff before, but it wasn't proven.
Nothing too blatant, you mean? Pretty much, you knew you had the feeling it was in your gut, but nothing walked across the room in front of you and you saw it. Which isn't normal, I think, with most hauntings. People experience stuff and they like to write it off. I think that's what a lot of people do, is write it off as well as they can. No one wants to be like, I actually just saw that, or a lot of people don't. And then it's funny because with the other side of it, people that want to see the stuff seem to see it all the time, or or actually never see it. People that want to. But so, third and last question, Jay. Have you ever went ghost hunting?
Yes, but it was kind of like a fail because we just stayed in I guess, my friend's van. We didn't actually go out and go into like the haunted area.
Oh, you didn't make it past the van?
No, well, never made it past the van's door.
Oh, it was that spooky, huh? It's spooky enough inside the van. You're like, I ain't getting out of here. It is pretty gnarly. Lots of people have stories about crazy hauntings being inside vehicles, though. Stuff happening outside of it that scared them so much they wouldn't get out, or they turned on the power and got out, or tried to do it, and while it's shaking and stuff. Crazy stories like that. How about you, Ledger? Have you ever went ghost hunting?
Yes, I killed Lucifer.
Oh, did you?
and Annabelle.
Actually, I think you've been with me
Yeah.
one time. Yeah, at that the old barns and
Oh yeah.
stuff. Yeah, by your dad's place. And we've done that. I've ghost hunted a few times, Jay. I don't think that any ghost hunt is a fail, no matter what. Caught lots of stuff on cameras. I haven't been to like weird, famous haunted houses. I've been to like cemeteries and stuff as a kid. I've been to older buildings, and pretty much it's mostly just flash camera photography where you're finding orbs and stuff.
Yeah, that reminds me to the second question you asked. I seen like an old man's face in that barn.
You did?
Yeah, at night.
Was he smiling at you? Was he blowing you kisses or face? Any of that?
Yeah, he gave me bunny ears. Yeah.
He pieced out, huh?
No, I seen him walking. It almost looked like it was like floating. It was pitch black outside.
So, guys, Ed and Lorraine were American paranormal investigators and authors associated with prominent cases of alleged hauntings. Ed was a self-taught and self-professed demonologist, author, and lecturer. Lorraine professed to be a clairvoyant and a light trance medium who worked closely with her husband. Now, in 1952, the Warrens founded the New England Society for Psychic Research, NESPR, the oldest ghost hunting group in New England. They authored many books about the paranormal and about their private investigations into various reports of paranormal activity. They claim to have investigated well over 10,000 cases during their career. The Warrens were among the very first investigators in the Amityville horror haunting. According to the Warrens, the official website of the NESPR, Vivid Glam magazine, and several other sources, the NESPR uses a variety of individuals, including medical doctors, researchers, police officers, nurses, college students, and members of the clergy in its investigations. Stories of ghost hauntings popularized by the Warrens have been adapted as or have indirectly inspired dozens of films, television series, and documentaries, including several films we have all seen probably and heard of, like the Amityville horror series, and the newest ones, the film The Conjuring, in the Conjuring universe. So now let's just going to take over this one and go straight to the famous hauntings.
In 1986, Carmen and Al Sneaker rented a house in Southington, Connecticut. While exploring the residence, they uncovered the mortuary tools in the basement, leading them to the chilling realization that their new home was a former funeral parlor. It seemed that as though many of the former clientele had never left. The smell of rotting flesh lingered throughout the house, and running water would at times turn blood red. The eldest Sneaker's son was plagued by visions and claimed to see ghosts. These ghosts reportedly sexually assaulted both Carmen and Al. Unsure where else to turn, the Sneakers asked Ed and Lorraine Warren for assistance. After examining the home, the Warrens attributed the hauntings to the ghosts of those who were brought to the funeral home. They concluded that the morticians had partaken in unsavory acts with the bodies.
That's pretty crazy. So that movie, The Haunting in Connecticut, with the son with the disease, and they moved there because they were losing money because they had to pay for his cancer, I believe it was. They moved there, and then they couldn't move out of it because of the financial debt they were into because of having to pay for his treatments. So that's crazy, huh? So reports of being sexually violated by a ghost or demon or something, a spirit, and then also, turning blood red, all the hauntings. These people were... This was one of the bigger ones where they actually turned a movie into it. It's pretty gnarly, right?
Yeah, that's just crazy.
So that's just starting off. That's the first one. We're going to go through some of these famous hauntings from the Warren's cases. I mean, allegedly they went through thousands of these, so these are like the biggest ones. They had the most publicity and typically range on the fact that there was a book or something written about them, which I'm sure we've all heard that one. So number 2, the Perrin family. When Roger and Carolyn Perrin moved into a 200-acre farmhouse in Rhode Island with their 5 young daughters, they had no awareness of its dark history. Many former residents had died under horrible circumstances. A few were murdered, and others hung themselves on the grounds. The parents came to believe that their spirits were still present in the home. Some were benign, would play with the children or help out with chores, which is very incredible. Insane, right? Other sinister spirits would relentlessly torment and torture the family. Ed and Lorraine Warren were brought in to help in 1974. However, their presence allegedly escalated the haunting to the point where Roger eventually asked them to leave. Their story would be the basis for the 2013 film, The Conjuring. So that's pretty crazy, huh? The Warrens went in to help and it started blowing up and stuff. Getting even worse.
Which makes me wonder, are all the things in that movie real, do you think? Or or some of it more
like Hollywoodized.
Yeah, Hollywoodized.
Oh,
yeah.
definitely. The Warrens have actually came out and said that.
Don't they have that based on a true story
Yes.
thing in the beginning?
Right. Which it is, and we know how they play it. But in these circumstances, I want people to understand that Hollywood does do its stuff, but they also don't deep dive into the actual happenings, or they don't believe them, so they throw in their own stuff. The Warrens like to say that a lot of the books written in the movies or whatever, that are based on these true stories, that the true stories were actually more crazy than the books and the movies themselves. They just wouldn't put that stuff in the movie because they're like, that's insane. A lot of it is, but a lot of the actual facts were left out. So it became their own story and stuff. And yeah, they did sell rights for that one. Ed died a while ago. I think it was 2006. Lorraine died just a couple years ago in 2019.
I wonder if Lorraine watched The Conjuring.
Yeah, she did.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the first ones were already out. She didn't watch the newest one or whatever,
No.
but she was actually brought on and like helped with and stuff. Yeah, they did. They got a lot
Cool.
of money from that, which is crazy. People like to write these people off like they were BS and it was all a show. They did this for like close to 60 years or something. Like they did this for a long time professionally, and they didn't end it rich.
Yeah. How would you get money from that though?
You could if you wanted to fake it.
Yeah.
By charging people, which they actually didn't charge people. They'd take donations and stuff, but most of the time it was on their own dime to go across the country or across the world to go to these sightings, And yeah, a lot of them were faked, they'd show up and say that. And I mean, they didn't just do hauntings. They did even like creatures, sometimes cryptids. Like there's a episode on Tony Spera, which is their son-in-law, who ran a TV show. Ed's on there talking about vampires, but he says that they're not like the ones that come and suck your blood at night. They're actually like bodies in coffins buried in the ground, and their astral body leaves at night and goes and like haunts pretty much people and sucks the energy from them to be able to survive. Like you'll dig up a grave and the body in there could be hundreds of years old. It's just it's still like it was buried yesterday. So, Jay, I know that you haven't heard about the Warrens a whole lot. You haven't watched these movies. But what do you think so far? What do you think about these people? They're called the original Ghostbusters.
I think they've been doing a good thing. There's a lot of these families. They need help basically, and they're offering some sort of explanation to what's ever happening to them.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's good. They really needed help, and a lot of these families were in major distress. Like a lot of them couldn't afford to move out. So could you imagine moving into a house? Could be your first one, could be your 10th one, doesn't matter. But you're financially stuck there. You move in, you think it's the biggest, most beautiful house. You wanted it, it's like your dream house, and all of a sudden your worst horrors come to life, and you cannot financially get out of there without going bankrupt and losing everything you've ever worked for.
Right.
Pretty insane, huh? It's scary. I mean, it could happen to anyone. And I think that's a big part of this is it really could. There's no discrimination when it comes to this. And sadly, a lot of times it happens to families that are like really good people,
Mm-hmm.
So let's hit the next one. It's the Enfield poltergeist. So in 1977, single mother Peggy Hodgson called police to her home in Enfield, telling them that she had witnessed furniture moving and her 2 of her 4 children had heard knocking from outside the walls. In the subsequent 18 months, more than 30 people, including the neighbors, psychic researchers, and journalists, said they witnessed heavy furniture moving of its own accord and objects being thrown across the room. 2 of the children, Janet and Margaret, were also photographed, levitating several feet off the ground. Lorraine and Ed Warren were contacted in 1978 and concluded that a demonic presence inhabited the house. So from what I know about this stuff, and you can actually look those pictures up online, what I know about this stuff is demons are really bad, right? I think we know that. Ghosts are bad that are doing, negative hauntings. I think any haunting is kind of negative in its own way because it's something in your house doing stuff that you have no control over. Some people like it, I guess. I'm not one of them. But the demons are very bad. Now, one that seems to be even more worst is actual poltergeist. is actual poltergeist activity, and it typically corresponds with young girls in the house around the time they start like their period, when they start becoming women. There's some sort of weird magic with that energy that causes this to happen, because these people live there. You could live there your whole life, and all of a sudden it's always girls. It's the correlation with poltergeist activity. So in this one, the Warrens concluded that it was a demonic presence that was in the house. Now this next one, and I believe that one had something to do with the Exorcist movie as well.
Repeat me if I'm wrong, but isn't that The Conjuring 2? Based off that story?
It could be. I'm not sure which movie it is, but it's called the Enfield Poltergeist. I'm kind of leaning towards like that Poltergeist movie. It's all a mix of everything. This one was buried, though. This next one is actually buried with the help of the police burying it. The chief of police, or whatever he was, the sheriff, I don't know. I think it was the chief of police. We'll get into it. But yeah, what do you think about the 3 stages of hauntings, Jay? What do you think about, regular hauntings from a spirit? There's also one that's just, it's a haunting where like the same stuff just happens, which they say it's residual energy from past experience. So like a soldier that walks up the stairs and does it every night at the same time. That's not like it's not thinking, it's not whatever, it's just energy repeating itself is one. Then there's actual hauntings of human spirits, and then demons are non-human spirits, and then poltergeist is a whole other level of its own. It's almost like a tulpa made out of nothing. It's just some weird, corrupt, chaotic energy. What do you think about those?
Well, I think that's correct. I think there's a 4th one where it's just spirits in general they don't know that they're dead, and they still roam the world as if they are still living. So they're not like demons that's going around pushing stuff around and whatnot. But if dead people, spirits that don't know that they're dead, and they haven't gone through the light to pass on, like go to the next stage.
I agree. So that's like in between the residual energy and regular hauntings. So this would be like probably your nice haunting, where they don't know they're dead, or I don't know. I don't know if they travel.
They're not doing that. Right.
And it's said that they move through the wind, cold, dark wind. Is what I don't know. Let's say. I've watched a lot of this stuff, done a lot of research on ghost spirits, all that stuff. So this one is, this one's pretty crazy, right? And it's kind of like a main focus of this episode. So it's called the Lindley Street Haunting, and it shares many of the same characteristics as the more famous Enfield Poltergeist, which is the one we just covered. However, the Warrens called this haunting the most important poltergeist in the last 100 years. So they divulged in the details of this case on their son-in-law's show called Supernatural Night with the Warrens years ago, where they described bringing a priest to a house covered with police and fire department vehicles. There's probably a crowd of 200 people between those professionals. Ed describes the house as looking as if someone had taken a baseball bat to the whole house. One officer said he saw a clock jump off of a wall and a chair fling across the living room. Now, after a trip from New York, the family started experiencing this falling activity. Items would come down with a crash, yet they would hesitate right before the impact. Like they would hover. They'd fall, and they'd stop for just a partial second, and then smash with incredible impact. Ed took interviews from neighbors, police, and recorded the police reports. One report states that on November 25th, 1974, strange occurrences at 966 Lily Street, describing strange happenings and destruction of the house. It tells about a refrigerator moving towards the officer and a chair bouncing around in the living room, and later 3 at the same time. The fire department checked for a gas leak that could cause the officer to see these things. So this guy went in there and started seeing this stuff, and he's like, am I high from this gas? Am I hallucinating from gas in the house, from what I'm seeing? He saw a crucifix vibrate and then fling off the wall. A picture flew off the wall in front of him. And then a TV set flew off the wall in front of him. And then a clock. As the priest showed up, the police asked him to bless them because of the activity they had experienced in the house. So it was so bad, you guys, that as soon as the priest came up, the cops were like, please bless me. Like, I'm done.
See, what my question is what did the clock say? What time was it?
That's a good question. I have no idea.
13:03.
All right. That'd be some numerology magic going on there. What do you think, Jay?
Yeah, that's crazy. I wouldn't want to be those officers.
Yeah, no way. And it sounded like they were bussing them in because it had to be 24/7 that they were bussing police in. How many cops they had there? Hundreds.
Yeah.
Or, tons of dozens and dozens and dozens of police were there at all times because no one could figure out what was going on. So the police ended up having to barricade the street because almost 15,000 people were trying to come out and find out what the hell was going on. And then on the fourth day the Warrens were there, the ultimate cover-up of this case started on the radio, where they began calling the family's daughter, the little girl, a ventriloquist that was so good she could make noises appear in all parts of the house and as well come directly from the family's cat. So they'd be in different parts of the house and all of a sudden there'd be voices, like out loud, distinguishable, very loud, very crazy. And that's the thing about these types of hauntings, is they're way demonic. It's almost like the energy buildup is so strong that it can do the most insane stuff. The cat was talked about speaking, trying to humiliate the police officers or mock them, and everyone that was there, the cat would start like mocking everybody that was there, saying crazy stuff. And they're like, the news comes out and they're like, yeah, the girl's a ventriloquist. Isn't that gnarly? Fucking gnarly, isn't it?
That's crazy.
That's scary.
It is very
I
scary.
think it's scary.
I've seen that in a few scary movies, like the cat or whatever, where it would be mocking the.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if like it got into their personal lives.
Right. Or like where they got the content for that movie, the idea,
Yeah.
where they got all that. Yeah, scary. My cat starts talking, yeah, you're gonna have a problem. I don't know, it might become my best friend. It just depends on what he's talking about, All right. So, yeah, they said a 90-pound child could magically move a 450-pound refrigerator without physically being there to move it. So they're like, yeah, it was the girl. She's moving the refrigerator around, moving the chairs around in front of the cops. But the cops she's not there, and it's just happening. And yeah, it's crazy. It's your stereotypical old age, oh, it's BS, just like the aliens. It's a balloon.
It doesn't make any sense what the cops were trying to say.
It really doesn't. It doesn't make any sense at all.
Can't believe anybody would believe them, though.
Right. Well, back then, people were very, tuned. I mean, they're still tuned into their TVs, but back then they had, 4 channels, and whatever was being said was the law,
Yeah.
So the chief superintendent decided to call up the media and say it was all a hoax caused by the little girl in order to get rid of all of the crowds outside. So remember, there's 15,000 people out there, which is BS. And Ed describes the speech as a materialized larynx, as very common in these kinds of hauntings. So it's used with energy. That's how these hauntings can go. Is you'll hear noises or sentences or whatever, something's talking to you, but it's materialized out of energy.
Right.
So, you're right. Yeah. Which is what these beings are. It's energy beings. And with other hauntings, it's like they gotta save up energy. They catch one, recording and stuff, and they end up getting weaker and weaker. So they're using energy, but there's something weird about these ones. They seem to just have unlimited energy out sometime. So then months later, the police stated that they received calls by their boss and were told to call it a hoax. Yet, of course, the mainstream media never came back and covered the truth of it, which was that they were demanded to shut up and say it was a hoax and to shut everything down. And that really helped with the Warrens being called hoaxsters and liars and stuff like that, is to get the focus off of it. To kind of just make it go away. The boss called and was like, it's a hoax, stop talking about it, make it out to be a mockery, get these people out of here. Pretty sad, especially if these people needed help. So next one, Jay, I'm sure you've heard about this, though. You ever hear about Annabelle, the doll?
Yeah.
You've heard about Annabelle.
All right.
This is a fun one. So this is a quick summary of her. Annabelle is a Raggedy Ann doll, officially gifted to a young nurse named Donna by her mother. When Donna took the doll back to her apartment, she and her roommate, Angie, noticed that it would often change its position, moving from one room to another. They would find notes scattered around the apartment reading, "Help me," in a child's handwriting. Lou, Angie's boyfriend, claims that he woke up one night, totally frozen, and saw the doll slowly crawl up his body, attempting to strangle him. Distressed, Donna and Angie reached out to a medium who told them that the doll was possessed by the spirit of a 7-year-old girl named Annabelle Higgins. The medium asserted that the spirit was ultimately benevolent, but Ed and Lorraine Warren had a differing opinion. They determined that a demonic presence was in inhabiting the doll. They performed a blessing in the residence before taking Annabelle off the young woman's hands, and they still have that today. However, they don't because they passed, sadly, and their son-in-law now runs the museum where Annabelle the doll is still held to this day.
I have a question. Is their daughter still alive?
Yes.
Okay, and they live in the same house, and with the doll and all the other haunted or cursed.
Yeah, they actually turned they have like thousands of haunted items.
Isn't it a museum now?
It is a museum, yeah, and you can go.
I heard that you can stay in the original Conjuring house, the farmhouse that.
Oh,
hell no.
Yeah.
Oh, hell no.
Oh, hell no.
Why not, Jay? Let's go together. Let's do it. This would be fun. No way you're negative on that, huh? I think it'd be fun, Jay. We'd have a great time. Maybe we could have Tony Spera bring Annabelle with us to the Conjuring house. All right, guys. So the next one is the Smurl haunting. Now, in 1974, Jack and Jeanette Smurl moved into a house on Chase Street, West Pittston, Pennsylvania. Strange occurrences followed, leading the Smurls to believe that a demon possessed their home. They claimed the demon had slammed their German Shepherd into a wall, bit Jack's ear, and pushed one of their daughters down a flight of stairs. I don't know about you, but if some spirit starts throwing my daughters down some stairs, I'll be throwing these ghost hands, boys. Both Jack and Janet were said to have been sexually assaulted by the demon, which is if we're going to be throwing ghost hands over that too. In 1986, they contacted Ed and Lorraine Warren, who confirmed that their house was indeed haunted. Ed Warren would go on to say that he had witnessed a dark mass form inside the home and that the demon had left him a message telling him to get out, which I would have texted that demon back and said, no, you get out, and let the argument start. But yeah, pretty scary.
This is my home.
Isn't that scary? Like, we always hear about the scary stuff happening and things, but being sexually violated by like a haunting, a spirit, a demon, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't want no ghost dick holding me down.
You know what that reminds me of? It's that one movie with Marlon Wayans, Haunted House.
The comedy.
Yeah, the comedy.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
or Scary Movie 2.
Yes.
Yeah, Scary Movie 2.
Yeah, scary movie too.
Where the ghost, he's banging the chick up the wall, up the ceiling and stuff. She's all like getting it, and then she like goes crazy on the ghost, and he like runs away.
Get out of here.
Yeah, it's funny to talk about until it happens to you, right?
Who knows? You might get a new fetish.
Oh, yeah. Oh, gosh. That's what nightmares are made of. So, next one, guys. South End Werewolf. One of the most bizarre cases ever investigated by Ed and Lorraine Warren occurred in Essex, England. A seemingly ordinary carpenter named William Ramsey claimed to be possessed by a demon that compelled him to take the form of a werewolf. Ramsey had experienced his first transformation at the age of 9. As he described it, he was playing outside when he felt an icy cold breeze, followed by an awful smell, before he flew into a rage. Uprooting a fence post with the fence still attached and gnawing at the wire mesh. Ramsey would not experience another episode like this until adulthood. Bill would fly into violent fits of rage, during which he would display inhuman strength, baring his teeth and growling while curling his hands like claws. When the Warrens caught wind of this in 1989, they convinced Bill Ramsey to come to their church in Connecticut and undergo an exorcism with their specialist, Bishop Robert McKenna. All right, guys. And that werewolf case is very interesting because something about the guy going to jail and fighting with cops. Interesting stuff. It's a weird story. He's the South End Werewolf, but... Here, let's go to another famous case. It is the last one, actually, we're going to cover tonight, which, it's perhaps the most well-known case to be investigated by Ed and Lorraine Warren. And it was the haunting in Amityville, Long Island in 1975. The Lutz family had moved into a quaint suburban home, where only a year before the mass murderer, Ronald DeFeo Jr., had killed 6 members of his family. During the first 28 days of their stay, the Lutzes reported swarms of flies, banging noises, disturbing entities, and witnessing the levitation of family members. When the Warrens were asked to cleanse the house, they brought a local TV crew in with them. They took photographs of the house, one of which seems to show a little boy standing in the shadows with glowing eyes. Lorraine has said that the Amityville horror case is the one that haunts her the most. It's where she found the most evil, the most demonic presence.
Jeez.
Allegedly, there was tons of demons in that house, and I've deep dived on this case, not just the haunting part, but the criminal part. It was actually very enveloped with the mob.
So, if you've seen The Conjuring 3, wasn't there, like, in the very beginning, there wasn't that a thing? Like it showed that story.
Probably. The Conjuring movies are all mixed with different
With different-
things, and yeah, I believe each one is like a different case,
Mm-hmm.
and then they Hollywood glamify it and stuff like that. But the Amityville case was insane because it had two ended up like crazy events happening. There was like a weird pig man something that was seen like walking around the house, and they found footsteps of it. Or didn't find
Could have been a
footsteps.
skinwalker.
It was just weird. It was weird, a weird haunting. It was unique, and yeah, it got the most, pretty much the most, I guess, views, if you want to call it that, most attention from the media and
Which
stuff.
what you'd think would be, whenever you look it up, you'd see Annabelle, the Annabelle doll in that story.
Right.
I feel like that could be that's one of the biggest ones nowadays.
Well, it's all evil, right? And all evil is connected, and just like the Ouija board, the report of like coming into the same demons all over the world using the Ouija board, like Zozo,
Oh yeah.
which you're not supposed to say the name of, but that comes up all the time, which will call itself the mother or the father or whatever, crazy stuff. I mean, evil is all connected, and that's what's interesting, just like the Sasquatch topic, just like the alien topic, just like cryptids. There's tens, if not hundreds or thousands of these cases of these things, people reporting the same thing, yet the government wants to tell us it's a hoax. It's all BS, just like Skinwalker Ranch. They got themselves financially unfortunate, and they needed to make money off of lying to people.
But they also said that about the aliens, and then they also just now, or a few months ago or whatever, came out and said the aliens are real.
Exactly.
So who's to know that they aren't going to come out and say that all this other stuff is real?
It's all real.
Yeah.
It just won't be released. It's controlled. So reality is controlled. We know that for a fact. It's whatever goes with their agenda. So there's still reasons why this is all covered up, while this is all hidden, while this is all hoaxified. But their MK Ultra, through the TV said, obey, obey, obey. They live, guys. It's just gnarly. It's just gnarly listening to these cases, and it's just the craziest shit in the world, right? Like, this is some insane stuff we're talking about here. But then you go, and the Warrens investigated thousands and thousands and thousands of these cases. This is 8 of them. Let that sink in for a minute. Pretty crazy stuff. So what do you think, Jay? I know you don't follow it, but after all this information of just these few hauntings, what do you think? What do you take from this? What should the people out there take from this?
Anything is possible, and don't invite something that you will regret.
Correct. A lot of things that tie these people together is no, I don't want to say don't be a good person, because it seems like really shitty families and really shitty people never really are implicated into these situations. However, I do notice that a lot of like highly religious people do get into this. Innocent people, very religious people, I could say don't have daughters. I'm just kidding. But just always prepare for the unexpected. Anything can happen in life, and it's all what you take from it, really, is what it is, and how you deal with it. And thankfully to the Warrens and all of their efforts against this kind of activity, or at least documenting this activity and finding new ways to combat this activity, we do have ways and systems and structures to be able to help. So for anyone out there that's dealing with this, you're not alone. Just like with the Sasquatch stuff, the alien stuff, other cryptid stuff, other mysteries, conspiracies, crime. There's other people out there experiencing the same thing or have, and so they know how to better off deal with these things. That information is there, and Tony Spera is the son-in-law of the Warrens, and he does own the museum and everything, and he actually has a team, and they are still active to this day, still doing what the Warrens were doing for all those years.
I wonder if people think that they're a hoax just like everybody else.
Oh, it depends on if they're on the mainstream media channels on the TV, if they're real or not.
Ghost
Hunters,
yeah.
Ghost Hunters,
Yeah.
Ghost Adventures.
Ghost Adventures, yeah.
I don't know. I'd say to any skeptics out there, just go out and have fun with it. Grab a camera, get a flash camera, video camera, audio recording device. Go almost anywhere and go try it out for yourself. If you find something, you'll least you could do is have fun doing it. might grow a little bit, learn something new, or you might become a total believer.
Yeah. I see something up there.
All right, Jay, any last words?
Pray to God if you do that before you do it.
Yes, always protect yourself with your religion, with your spirituality, whatever you use, your faith. Always stay protected, because you are dealing with the unknown, and you are dealing with stuff that comes from those Bibles. So always prepare yourself. Thank you, everybody, for coming to the Collective Minds podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, 5-star, whatever you want to do. We are on like everywhere all the time. We just got a new website. You can find us at the Buzzsprout link we will post with this. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Spotify. I think we're on iHeartRadio. All sorts of stuff. We got links.
YouTube just got banned for 2 weeks, was it?
Yeah, we got another strike for medical misinformation on a podcast that was strictly about nuclear war survival. Very interesting. As well as it happening on the day where we started getting a ton of subs and likes, which is fine because YouTube can eat my ass.
Third strike right there.
Thank you all for coming. We are out.